Go. Okay. I apologize beforehand if my internet is spotty. There's something going on in our neighborhood. So if it is spotty, Angie, and it's getting annoying, I'll have you at least close. But every so often I'll get a good connection, then it goes on. It was happening this morning when my kids were getting ready for school. So they still haven't fixed the problem. So I apologize for that. But welcome everyone. Great to see energy feeding off of your bright spirits. We are in December, believe it or not, the last month of the year. Today, coincidentally, is the first day of December. So I make this past weekend. I finally, it's Wednesday. I finally eating regular food as of last night. Up until then, I had leftovers from Thanksgiving all the way to Monday night. Therefore, I doubled up on my Optimin, my Link, and my Genomics. So now, starting today, I'll go back to my regular dosage, and hopefully I don't need it until the ending of December when we have Christmas and New Year's and all the fun stuff. But nonetheless, we had a great call last night. For those who wasn't able to join us, please, when you have time, go ahead and log on to a YouTube channel. It being the 5th Tuesday of the month, Angie, our COO, was able to give a little IT training, as she puts it. But it was so informative, especially those that have recently been in the business, as few as like 3 months even. There are features that she shared in our back office and in our app that will help you enhance your business, learning how to invite people, learning how to recruit people, learning how to follow up on people, the next rank, and also help those that you have in as well. So all that good training was recorded. So when you have time, feel free to log on to our YouTube channel and take some notes, because those are definitely tools that you can put in, like Matthew always put it in our toolbox. The more tools we have in our toolbox, the better off that we'll be. So really appreciate Angie for sharing those tricks, those tools. And so feel free to use that as you need to. And we want to thank everyone for working very hard. Last month in November, it was a great month, even though we had the holiday schedule. So next week, Wednesday, we will be able to share some of the statistics and the data that we usually do. I know today is technically the first Wednesday, but because we just started closing up the month late last night, we weren't able to get all of the data, at least the accurate data that we would want to share. So to share that with you. And we just hope that everybody in your respective cities and states will be able to be recognized. So tune in next week. At this time, I'll turn the time over to Angie to let us.
All right, thank you, Stu. So we're going to be talking.
Promotion is for this month.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the promotion for December, and it is the season of savings. So we wanted to bring back our $10 digital activation kit. So for the month of December, any new enrollment that you have can sign up for the $10 digital activation kit. This is a great time to get enrollments in. But that's not all. We are also extending our November promotion of the free bottle of Genomics. So any order of 200 PV or more will receive, if it's an enrollment or a reorder, but any order of 200 PV or more is going to get the free bottle of Genomics. So this is a great month to be enrolling people with the digital activation kit. But if they come in with the $200, or if you reorder with $200, you're also going to get the free Genomics. So take advantage of our December promotion. This goes from December 1st to December 31st. So take advantage, get your guys' orders in now. The free Genomics, it also applies to your auto ship order. So if you have an auto ship order of 200 PV, You don't need to make any changes. It will automatically add to that order. So that is our December promotion. Make sure you take advantage of that. And we have a few things that are coming up, and I'm not going to take a lot of time to talk about them, but we do have our A6 leadership event that's coming up this weekend. So I know that Ryan and David are going to talk about that a little bit more, but I just have to say, I am super excited to have our people from the US that are A6 and above join us this weekend in Salt Lake for our leadership event, and kicking off the growth that we're having in the US. So I'm really excited to see it. We have a lot of people on the call that are going to join us this weekend. Griselda, Christina, Matthew, Angela. I know a lot of people are going to be coming in for this event. So we're super excited to be hosting this event this weekend. And the one thing I wanted to mention was Stu mentioned the call last night about the technology training. One thing I started thinking about, and I just want to really emphasize, is one of the coolest things about this business is you don't have to be an expert in the technology. You don't have to be an expert in the product. You don't have to be an expert in the comp plan. You can build this business without being an expert in any of those areas. I can tell you that we have a lot of successful leaders that they know the comp plan, but they don't teach the details of the comp plan. They don't teach every single piece of where you get paid. They tell you how you can get your money back. They tell you where, how you're going to get paid, but they don't know every single detail of the comp plan. And that's going to be the same if you watch the recording from last night. That's the same thing with the technology. You don't have to be an expert in the technology that we provide you to grow this business. There's been a lot of successful distributors that didn't even realize we had an app. There's been a lot of successful distributors that they only look in their back office to see how much volume they need for that next drink. So you don't need to be an expert. The only thing you need to know how to do is invite, present, follow up, and close. So I just wanted to emphasize that as we put out that recording, that even though we have a lot of great features, we offer you guys a lot of tools. You don't need to be an expert in these to grow your business. So, but take advantage of our December promotion, free bottle of genomics, $10 digital activation kit. And that's what we have going on. So back to you, Stu.
Great. Thank you so much, Angie. Really appreciate it. And I love what Angie said, because Ryan as well, Angie, all of us in corporate, we attend boot camps. We do presentations for leaders in countries, whether it's Zoom or in person. And if we went into detail on everything about our company, it would be 3-4 hour long seminars, which, probably 3/4 of people would already be sleeping. So when I do mine, I take Angie's advice is I just summarize some things, but I also point out what is I'm most passionate about, my experience with the product, and which product is that. And then also the biggest thing in the comp plan that I am very passionate about, and that I'll share with you guys, is that A6 rank. That A6 is the pinnacle to me of success for actives, because it does so many things. One, it shows that you are committed to this business, but more importantly, because we're a global and international business, it allows you to participate in the various pools. And so a lot of the training that we have received, Claudia talks about this, the different business centers, Maribel talked about this in her presentation last couple weeks ago about having more than one franchise. And so by utilizing the pools, you literally have an international business. And then through that, you also make wonderful friends and contacts that will help you further grow your business. And so if you find something that you are passionate about, the reason why you yourself join actives, that's the biggest thing that you can share. And everything else, like Angie pointed out, we have resources for that by pointing them in the right directions, by utilizing your upline, by your organizations. Here at corporate, we'll love to give different angles on things, but you don't have to be an expert in everything. But what you should know is what you are passionate about, why you yourself joined the business. And when you share that, people will realize that that is why you're here, and that's why you're talking to them. So I encourage you guys to be good at least at something, and at least be passionate about something, and that's what you share. So Really appreciate that words of advice. And we saw that Ryan now has joined us. So I'm gonna turn the time over now first to Ryan, and after Ryan to David, to give us a little perspective on the upcoming events. As Angie pointed out, our A6 event that's gonna be coming up this weekend, and also to give some words of advice. So I'll turn the time over to you, Ryan.
Great, thanks, Stu. I'll let David talk about the A6 event coming up this Saturday. It's gonna be exciting. But good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. Happy December. It's officially a new month today. It's hard to believe that November came and went just like that. Like some of you, my November was a blur. We did celebrate on the 20th our official 4-year anniversary, having launched in Mexico. And I know that we touched on this last week. Well, actually, yeah, last week. And I was just going through the recap video. If you guys haven't seen the recap video, check it out. It's pretty fun and exciting, and it gives you a real broad perspective for, you know, what's going on in the actives universe. And I know that many of you were there in Mexico. It was great to see some of you in person there. Maribel coming up at the end of the event and talking, and you know, many others of you. It was great. You know, talking about how fast November's gone by. The last 4 years have really flown by, and sometimes it's you know, you think of specific instances and you're like, boy, that feels like that was 10 years ago. Other times it feels like it was just, you know, a couple of months ago. So what I want to share with all of you today is you know, Stu, you mentioned boot camps, and that we do these, you know, many of us are doing weekly trainings with different groups and different teams or segments of teams. And one thing that I've been talking a lot about, and I remember exactly 1 year ago, as 2020 was coming to an end, I was issuing a challenge to many people to focus on getting to A12 in 2021. No matter what your rank, no matter where you are on the spectrum of ranks, if you're not yet A12, this year can be that for you. And the reason why I talk about A12, obviously there are ranks. Each rank is an important building block, right? And assuming that those of you that are involved in this update call, you're here because you're also interested in building an actives business. So I want to reissue that same challenge, that same invitation to everybody here, is to focus on A12. Of course, if you're A11, sure, set your sights on A13, on A14, on A16. But why do I talk about A12? I talk about A12 because when you achieve the rank of A12, and I don't mean just like hitting it once, I mean you achieve it, and month after month after month, you're able to maintain that volume. For many people, it's the first time that you are really stepping into what I would consider a life-changing lifestyle income. Now, you're not a millionaire yet as an A12, but you are earning an average of $10,500 per month. That's not the minimum or the maximum. That's the average. And you know, for many people, that's replacement income. For others, replacement income occurs at A10 or A11, maybe A9 even. But A12, it's paying you enough money where you can really say, you know what, I think I've made it. If I had to quit today and I just earned this $10,500 every single month for the rest of my life, I could sail off into the sunset. I mean, for many people, I would say 90%, if not more than 90% of the population, that would be a true statement. So what do you need to do to get to A12 this year? If you haven't yet set your goals, it's not too soon to start thinking about it. It's not too soon to decide how you're going to close this year. Make sure you close this year strong. But be thinking about 2022. And what I've been encouraging people to do is write it down. Don't just write down the goal. Write down how you're going to do it. Write down what your plan of action is going to be. How many contacts will you make each day? How much time are you going to be budgeting on a daily basis to invest in building your side business, right? Your plan B, which for many people turns into your plan A. If you're not planning it, it ain't going to happen. So other points to write down ranks, right? If you're brand new with actives, write down, I need to find 4 people, right? 4 business partners. And you're going to focus on helping each one of those business partners reach the rank of A3. A3 is a really important rank. It's when someone is making more money than they're spending on product. So if you spend $200 a month on product, you're earning between $200 to $300 per month as an A3. That's someone with $2,500 a month in volume. So once you have those 4 people, right, you're now an A6, right? You're going to become an A6, and your average income is about $1,000 per month. So that's the first real stepping stone that you want to get to within the first 90 days to 4 months, maybe 5 months into 2022. The next step is having qualified for the 500 club, you should have 10 business partners. The focus needs to be to help all of those business partners become A6s, right? When you help all of them do what you've just done, which is earn $1,000 a month, so you're going to help each one of those 10 people find 4 A3s, 4 people who are A3s with 10 of your people. Now you're an A12. So that's the the abbreviated summary of how to get to an A12 if you want to write it down. To get to A16, you're working with those same 10 people and helping them become A12s, and that will give you $1 million in monthly volume. You'll be incredibly balanced because you'll be very wide as an organization. Obviously, they say that multiple roads or all roads lead to Rome, and that is also true of our comp plan. There's more ways than one to do it. But I want to share this with you because sometimes we'll have goals and we'll say, I want to reach that. I want to be an A12 or I want to be an A16. But it's kind of this very nebulous, non-tangible goal that we can't define. So I would encourage you to define it as well as you can, know what the steps are along the path, know what rank you're going to get to in the next 60 days, what rank you're going to help your personals get to, and really focusing on them, helping your personals reach that rank of A3. At least 4 of them will get to A6, then get 10 people to get to A6, and you'll hit your A12. That for me adds definition to the goal. So I want to issue that challenge to all of you right now on this call. If you're not currently in A12, this is the year. This next year, 2022, is the year for all of you to hit A12. For those of you who are at or above that, well, you set your sights higher. But for right now, that is a great goal and a realistic goal for everybody to reach. I am convinced that to the extent that you have a defined goal and a defined plan of action, and you're focusing on helping your personals and people in your organization reach their goals, you will reach yours. I've seen people do it in less than 6 months. I've seen it during the pandemic. We had a whole generation of people enter our company and hit A12, and they did it in less than a year. Some 6 months, others 7, others 8 or 9 months. You can do it in a year, and take it from me. It will be life-changing income, and it will really ratchet up your lifestyle because you won't have to have a boss. You can work when and with whom you want to. And you'll be well on your way to getting to that A16. So that's what I want to encourage you all to do. The last thing that I want to say before I pass it to David is a lot of time we haven't been spending much time talking about strategies on how to build during these winter season. So I want to take a minute, Stu, to talk about that. And I would actually encourage all of you who are leaders to talk about this more with your teams. People need to hear, what do I do at Christmas time? What do I do? We just went through Thanksgiving. We're in the holidays. We'll be celebrating New Year's. There'll be lots of times when we are with friends and family and old acquaintances and old friends. I can tell you that after 27 years of being in this industry, what makes the difference in someone's growth has a lot to do with what they do during this holiday season. Right? It has a lot to do. It has a big effect on the rest of the year. The best analogy that I've ever heard to describe how to work is the analogy of a rubber band. I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with this, but basically work hard. You're planting seeds, right? This is a time to be contacting lots of people, planting seeds during November, December, January. Because in February, March, April, May, June is really when you want to have the harvest. Those are the strongest growth months historically across all network marketing companies in the industry. But in order for those to be big months, it doesn't mean that you get started in February, March, April, May, or June. It means that you are harvesting all that you planted during November, December, January, and even into February. So the analogy of a rubber band is like, imagine you have a rubber band, and to the extent that you pull that rubber band back, right, that's going to determine how far that rubber band goes. So however far you want to get in April, May, June, you've got to really stretch that rubber band back now, right now, December 1st, starting last month, November, December, January. If you work a little bit and you just kind of maintain yourself and you keep in touch with people, hey, how's it going? Did you get your order in? Are you aware of the company's promotion? If that's all you're doing, it's tantamount to not stretching that rubber band back at all. And how far is it going to go, right? Come February, March, you're going to let go and it's going to go bloop, and you're going to land right where you are right now. There's not going to be growth. There'll be marginal growth, if any. So please take it from me. I've been around the block more than a few times in this industry. And what I'm sharing with you is true without exception, year after year after year, across many different companies. So, and if you're not sharing that with your team, please start sharing it with your team, and make sure that you are, the best way to manage December is just make sure you have things on the books. Make sure you're scheduling things, right? If you wanna take advantage of this month and January, make sure that they're not, down months for you. Just make sure you're scheduling things. You're setting up calls, you're setting up trainings, you're setting up presentations, and you're doing it so that when you get to it, you don't have something else scheduled on top of it. Many of us have families and we have a lot of extracurricular activities we do, but I've seen it work, and I've made it work year after year by simply planning and scheduling, being good at planning. So, again, to the extent that you're a good planner, you will do very well, and you'll really stretch that rubber band. And come April, May, and June, many of you will have some real significant rank advances. So that's the very best advice I can give you today on December 1st. I want to also congratulate many of you who really left it all on the field in the month of November, and we had some great growth. Some of you are actually from Mexico. We exceeded our forecast down in Mexico for November, so congratulations to all of you. And I look forward to seeing all of the English-speaking A6s this coming Saturday, and we're going to be having a Spanish speaking A6 event here in the US. We're targeting February to do that. So anyways, have a great month, and I'll see all of you next year. And some of you I'll see on Saturday. All right, I'll turn the time over to David. David, here's the invisible baton. I'm passing it over to you. Take it away.
Thanks. Hey, everybody, it's good to see you. It is going to be exciting to see many of you on this coming weekend. We're looking forward to it. Some of you might be asking, why in the world are you doing this on a weekend in December? There's many things going on. There's lots of things. And that's a very good question, actually. But it actually has to do with what Ryan just mentioned. And that is ending the year strong and getting charged up to plant those seeds and start the year off, the new year of 2022 off strong as well. It's going to be great to not only see you and spend time together, but the training is going to be excellent. And the good news is most of the training isn't coming from us because we're corporate guys. What do we know about training? Ryan is a very good trainer. Angie's a very good trainer. The rest of us, actually Stu's a pretty good trainer too. So actually they're all good trainers. I'm not a very good trainer, but we're going to have great words of wisdom and training on real concrete how to build your business themes and topics, led by Christina's going to be there, Claudia's going to be there, Karen. I don't have the whole list of speakers in front of me, but you're in for a treat. Now, I also know that for many of you, hearing things like, "Oh, November was a great month. Lots of people rank advanced. Oh, we're looking forward to having an A6 fly-in." It just reminds you and makes you feel bad that maybe you didn't have a great month and that you're not an A6, and it kind of makes you feel bad. I know how that goes. I know it's kind of like I know a number of women who don't like Mother's Day because maybe they've had a tough time having children, or their family's not where they want it to be. And it just, those kind of things just kind of remind them of what they don't have. And so I want to harken back to what we talked about and some of the themes that you heard just in this brief meeting so far today. Angie mentioned that you don't need to be a technological wizard to succeed. Stu mentioned you don't need to be a scientific savant and talk about all the details about the products. You don't have to be a comp plan whiz either to succeed. But there were a couple of things that were reminders of what we do need to do. One of those, Stu mentioned it, Angie mentioned it, and you just heard Ryan talk about it, is they use the word share. I think you gotta have a plan, right? And really sharing it. And I think sometimes we think, well, what's going to work? I don't know, I'm not the world's greatest expert on this, but most of us surround ourselves with people who are a lot like us. And so my advice is, whatever worked with you and whatever resonates with you, share that with others. And not just the actual themes and the information, but even in the way. If whoever recruited you into the business was successful by really banging on your door night and morning and being really heavy-handed about it, well, that's unusual, but that approach worked, go for it. But probably what happened is that it was a soft sell approach, that they said, listen, I have something, you're important to me, I want to share this is important to me, this is why it's important to me. And so they did that. And that's the approach that I would advocate. Whatever worked with you will probably work with those that are in your respective sphere of influence. Now, the other thing is, I was thinking about Dr. Joe Maroon. Do you remember his presentation when he talked about going through a bout of depression, giving up his very flourishing practice of neurosurgery and ending up basically pumping gas at a truck stop? It's still an amazing story to me. I remember somebody came along, actually the banker that held the mortgage on the truck stop, that was in danger of going out of business and facing bankruptcy. All he did was simply invite him to go on a run at the high school track. And it wasn't a long run at first, it was just one lap around the track. Now, what's interesting about that to me is that I've heard that story many times from Dr. Maroon. Never did he say, well, first I had to go out and buy a pair of shoes to run in. So apparently he already had a pair of shoes, he just never used them. And so he probably looked at those shoes every day, thought, I'm getting fat, I'm out of shape, I'm depressed, I'm not doing anything. And the thought probably occurred to him, I really should go get some exercise. And he looked at those shoes and he thought, oh, you know what, that just doesn't sound fun. And it's gonna be painful, I don't wanna do it. Well, eventually, by someone not giving up on him and inviting him to do it, he had the tools already, he had the shoes, and he went out and little by little gained some strength and gained some ability, so that now in his 70s, he can run 26 miles, he can bike 100 miles, and he can swim 2.5 miles in a triathlon, which is unbelievable. He had to start there. And so some of you, as you're thinking about Ryan's challenge of reaching A12 in a year, might really be thinking, you know, I haven't had a good month. I'm not even in A6. I'm not going to the fly-in. I can't imagine that. That's probably a lot like Dr. Maroon looking at those shoes for this first time. But I'm telling you that the shoes that you have in your closet that will help you succeed are there. And it's a success guide. It really is. And that becomes the plan that Ryan's talking about, and really just sharing. And, you know, I've got this signed baseball here in my house, and it's from Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra was a famous baseball player in the Hall of Fame. But he's actually more well known for the funny things that he said, not realizing that they were funny, than even his baseball. And one of the things that he wrote on this baseball says, to David, the future ain't what it used to be. That's one of his famous sayings, which really doesn't make any sense if you think about it, right? The future ain't what it used to be. But I think that if all of us go into this year planting seeds at the end of this month and go into 2022, we can make sure that our future doesn't become just like our past, that we're not succeeding, that we're not reaching our goals, and that we're not just doing the same old things that we dreamed about doing in the past, but we just never took the extra step. We really do have the tools. You really do have everything it takes. You have the desire, or you wouldn't have even joined the company. You have the tools in basic information and a basic plan set forth in the success guide. You have examples of people who have succeeded. So you have that faith, that seed of faith that, hey, this is really possible. And most importantly, Just like Dr. Maroon had a friend who encouraged him, you have people who will encourage you if you let them, and if you continue to keep plugged in to your group, to these type of calls, to the meetings that will continue to help you every step of the way. So at this Christmas time, at this holiday time, when we think a lot about giving gifts, obviously we hope that one of the gifts that we give will be the gift of health and the gift of a business opportunity and increased wealth for a family. But give yourself a gift, okay? Give yourself the gift of doing some things that you really are capable of doing, but you haven't done yet for whatever reason. Christina did a really good job in Mexico. You saw this ridiculous video of us dancing and being uncomfortable and all these type of things. But what was even more ridiculous, actually was more unbelievable. It was really believable. Those of you who've known Ryan for a long time, seeing him up on stage kicking it, that was very believable. You could totally see that because you've seen him do it before. Seeing the other ones, but what was actually more unbelievable than even Christina Godoy getting me up there was Christina Godoy herself doing it. That was unbelievable. Okay, and that's just a big step, and that may be but clearly, the example that the message that she was trying to set is the real one. Do something. That success guide, that sharing is uncomfortable, or it can be. But just like I'll tell you what was pretty funny was that what was almost more unbelievable to me than Christina Godoy doing that was Christina Godoy enjoying it. Okay, that was actually even more unbelievable than her doing it. She wasn't doing it with a grimace on her face. She wasn't doing like, oh man, I just got to get through this. She was having fun. She was getting through it. And that's what's kind of crazy. And she's laughing because she knows I'm right, Christina? But it's kind of like Dr. Maroon on that first lap around the track. Painful, probably his legs were hurting, he was probably out of breath, his lungs were killing him, all that kind of stuff, but he got up and he went a little bit further the next day, a little bit further the next day. And then what happens is our bodies actually, with that kind of sustained physical activity, our brain rewards us. Our brain says, okay, finally you got over yourself. Finally you got over all your doubts. I'm going to reward you with some things you're really going to like. It's called dopamine. It's called serotonin. It's all these brain chemicals that it's going to give you. They call it the runner's high. Okay, and it comes from other things. And I'm telling you, the more that you share the message of actives, the more you reach out of yourself, the more comfortable it's going to be, the more you'll enjoy it. And pretty soon you'll be just like Christina. You know what? After that, this is a little known fact about that event in Mexico. Every time you looked at Christina, no matter if it was in the hallway or anything, she was dancing all the time. She was dancing. She never stopped dancing, right, Christina? And then you'll find yourself the same way. You'll find this whole sharing. Everything that was uncomfortable, everything is standing in your way, even though you faithfully get on these phone calls, even though you faithfully plug in, you're still kind of walking by those shoes, you're walking by that success guide every day. And if you're really being honest, you're not doing it. You're not putting them on and you're not going for a run. But if you do, it will get easier and easier. And so give yourself that gift. Give yourself the gift of doing those things that are hard, that you're eminently capable of doing. And if you do, you'll find that you're succeeding and reaching those goals. You're not only coming to A6 fly-ins, but you're helping other people. And now you're the leader that they're looking up to, bringing them into A6 fly-ins. And you'll look and you'll find out that the future really ain't what it used to be. It was much brighter, and it changed because you changed and you did different things. And that's what's pretty exciting about this whole thing. We look forward to seeing you this weekend, and have a great week. Okay, Stu, back to you, buddy.
Thank you so much, Ryan and David. Great advice, great training. Christina, thanks for the laughter. We appreciate that. But we're not laughing at you, we're laughing with you. Actives is a fun company. And if we're not laughing, we're not smiling, we're not enjoying it. So we appreciate everyone for your leadership. What you do for Actives, and what you actually do for us here at corporate, because we love seeing your smiley faces. And just to let you know, David said he loves karaoke and he loves dancing. So any event, please invite him. He'll be more than happy to share his moves that he learned from Ryan and his voice that he learns from Angie. So with that, I will turn the time over to Angie to wrap us up.
All right, well, we are going to do our raffle. So let me share my screen here. And we'll go ahead. Oh, let me do this one more time. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're gonna do a raffle for 60 reward points. So here's our first name. All right, congratulations, Noemi. Okay, here we're gonna do 2 more. So here's our second name. All right, and Sylvia, I do not have your ID number, Sylvia, so we can put that in the chat. And then our last name, here we go. All right, and congratulations, Lorraine. You are our last raffle winner. So thank you guys all for joining. And we're excited to see those of you that are coming for our A6 flying. We're excited to see you this weekend. And you guys have a great day. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Have a great week.
Everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon.